Hello, folks. Richard Moore, USAGSA. I've got a story for you, a breaking story. This happened yesterday in Lowndes County, Mississippi, in the Steens community, which is right outside of Columbus. And it's difficult to hear about these type things or read about it. But what is really difficult and hard to process is a crime has taken place, ladies and gentlemen, involving the Lowndes County Sheriff's Department and the local fake news are doing what they do best, absolutely nothing. WCBI, the local fake news television station that loves the sheriff, Eddie Hawkins, Crooked Eddie. So their broadcast, it was on their website. Now I try to click it and it says this page can't be found. Oops, they've taken that down. They'll spend just a few seconds on it. And respectively, WTVA in Tupelo, Mississippi, spent about 10 seconds on it. Both of them parroting the same bull crap. So here's what happened. Lowndes County deputies were supposedly responding to an active, boy, they love these words, active domestic disturbance. Who knows what was going on? And so they are flying on Sunday afternoon on a 2-lane highway that's busy, going to a domestic disturbance, which common practice nationwide, folks, and this is 99.9% of all law enforcement agencies, do not run sirens and lights when they're going to a domestic disturbance. Now, but apparently these clowns were doing it. So they're flying down Highway 12. One deputy passes the other one. I'm going to get there before you. We'll never get the story of where they was going, or how big of an emergency it was. Because every time these criminals with badges get an opportunity to run them lights and sirens or use machine guns and hand grenades, dogs, rats, snitches, prostitutes, magicians, whatever, they're going to use it. They're not being held accountable. So, they're flying down Highway 12. And a Lowndes County deputy that they hadn't named, but I'm going to because that's what I do, T-boned Sarah Jackson, 85 years old. So this child of God is trying to turn and get out of the way of this mayhem, and she's T-boned. Now, CBI reported later that the deputy's vehicle flipped several times down in the woods. They took her to the hospital to treated and released. They said they took Sarah Jackson to the hospital where she died. I mean, really, they had to take the jaws of life, and I'm putting a picture of her vehicle and the Lowndes County vehicle on there. So, Miss Jackson didn't have a prayer. She was killed. This is an absolute reckless endangerment of the citizenry of Lowndes County. Who do I hold responsible? I hold Crooked Eddie Hawkins responsible. This is the point I've been trying to make as we continue to expose corruption in this state and across this country. Now, folks, I grew up in Alabama. And in Alabama, we was raised up to believe that shit rolled downhill. Apparently, Eddie Hawkins doesn't believe that. He believes it defies gravity. So he don't know how he gets this, and it's rolling uphill on him. He's not going to take responsibility for it. So who's the killer here? It took a life of a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother that was viciously and alarmingly snatched out of this life and away from her loved ones and friends unnecessarily because of the reckless and malicious and complete incompetence of these people that absolutely experience and be able to enjoy zero accountability for their actions. Lowndes County Sheriff's Department, whether they run you over and kill you or execute you like they did Austin Hines, whatever it is, they've got a story, and this is the story that Hawkins is giving. They were responding to and it was a collision. A collision. I'm sorry, Eddie Hawkins, that wasn't no damn collision, okay? You make it sound or seem as if somehow this elderly woman, and you know how old people are, they can't drive, and women, so you've got this this mentality of this, especially in Lowndes County, and they got away, and that's what happens. Now, they say that Mississippi State Troopers are investigating this, and that's a damn joke, okay? That's Sean Tyndall's dog and pony show in Jackson, and he answers to none other than Lynn Fitch, and she has what her standards line up and dovetail with the Ku Klux Klan. So good luck with all that. Nothing is going to happen. So let's talk about the criminals. I do want to say for family members of Miss Jackson that that could have been my mother, our grandmother. It's heartbreaking. It's very hard to process and comprehend this. And we said, well, it's a tragic and unfortunate accident. Now, this was preventable, boys and girls. I don't believe wherever they was going was that big of an emergency that they had to put every damn body from point A to point B in danger of their lives. That was the emergency. Is nobody is safe in Lowndes County when you got these criminals riding around in our vehicles, getting paid with our money, that do not want to answer our questions, and if you dare question them or expose them, they target you. They go shut you up. Rebecca Bumgardner, 24 mandatory years in prison. But they still had to shut her up. And that fat lady is not saying in that, and the fat lady is not saying in this either. So, this killer, as I had mentioned, is none other than Michelle Hunt. I'm putting her picture on there too. I will put two pictures on there for you. One, where she's wearing a mask, working for the Greater Metropolitan Area Sting Unit. And the other one, where she doesn't have a mask on, okay? It's clandestine. Oh, I don't want to get on it, folks. I'm telling you, you've got an unhinged group of despots out here working under the leadership of Eddie Hawkins. Until Eddie Hawkins is held accountable, and then his minions are held accountable and brought to justice, I'm afraid to say, folks, it's going to be more of the same. Nobody can say, well, we live in a safer place because of him. No, absolutely not. Let me tell you, you're safe for two reasons. The main reason is because of God, and thank God for the Second Amendment. What if you didn't have God or that Second Amendment? Honey, you would be in a world of hurt. Because we know at the end of the day, in the dirty South, that's who you call on when you're in trouble. God and Smith & Wesson. Not the sheriff's department. No, no. They'll come out and kill you or lock you up and get you in there and beat you and rape you and everything else. And that is not me just pulling things out of thin air. This is an unmitigated fact. Too many stories, too many cases, too much going on to ignore this, folks. We can't keep ignoring it. So, what needs to happen here? The same thing needs to happen if it was anybody else that had an emergency to go to. And they T-boned and killed somebody. It's not Miss Jackson's fault for driving her car and on Sunday afternoon. I'm quite sure she didn't have plans to be killed by those that I'm sure she was satisfied that were pretty good people and they are looking after our best interest. And folks, that ain't the deal. It hadn't been the deal. It ain't going to be the deal. So, Michelle Hunt, her daddy's on the force too. It's a family affair. First of all, she needs to be charged. Vehicular homicide to start with, and then you can add it on in there. They love this qualified immunity, it's judicial immunity. They can do anything. As long as they've got the talking points, an emergency, going to an active domestic violence call, blah, 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 blah. And they got plenty of crooked-ass lawyers and judges and prosecutors, Scott Cologne, that are going to absolute co-sign this BS. It'll make a difference when you go to polls and start voting and demand that we have transparency and demand that we have somebody in there that actually is an honest, God-fearing person that will abide by their oath and not put some old bogus BS on their website or their mission statement if they're going to serve the people and all that other crap. Lowndes County spends too much time on Facebook and their deputies with all these clandestine names trolling around and telling the news we've got sex trafficking and drug trafficking, all that crap. They drumming all this crap up. Obviously, they ain't spending no time on how to drive a damn car. And when you're out there mixing with people and the citizens, the people that's writing your check, Eddie Hawkins, you need to exercise caution. You need to exercise caution. You let the people paying your payday, writing your check, you let them move out of the damn way, and then you go. It's not everybody stand back and let the man through. My ass. Eddie Hawkins, the best thing you can do, and I know that you got way too much pride. You got that government job and benefits, a vehicle, and guns, bells and whistles, and can do anything, a Rolex watch, and the other people out there that you're supposed to be protecting are worried about how they're going to buy groceries, pay the utility bill, the rent, the mortgage, their job. They've got a lot of things that they're concerned about, and you ain't worried about nothing. You can do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, and whoever you want to do it with. Ain't nobody gonna stop you. Or at least that's what you think. Because I can tell you, Eddie Hawkins, whether you think you've got all this stuff hidden and covered up, and you have lied under oath and committed perjury, you directed your people to do that, there's not one thing hidden that God will not expose. Nothing done in the dark that will not be shown in the light. And God sees it, Eddie, and he ain't laughing. He is not amused. I know you like to talk about him, but it's one thing talking about him, it's another thing serving him. And that, my friend, you ain't doing it. You serving the other guy. And we know who that is. That's the unmitigated facts, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Hawkins, you need to call WCBI and say, I got a news. Y'all come on over here. And I'm sure they'll run red lights and put on a whistle to get over there, because they just get soaking wet all over when you call them. And make that press release that effective immediately. You're resigning. It's over with. And apologize. to the community and to Miss Jackson's family and these other victims' family. Repent and then get somebody, because if you driving a vehicle that we paid for, you need to leave him keys too and walk home, or catch a damn ride to Oxford and go down there to the FBI and turn your ass in. And since y'all love these rat and snitch programs so much, you shouldn't have any problem turning the rest of these ass clowns that you got doing your bidding. That should be the order of business. That is how the people in Lowndes County and the rest of the people in the state and around this country will be convinced that you really have turned a page in life and that you really are trying to do the right thing. That's the only thing in my mind, and I believe other people's mind, that is acceptable at this juncture. How many more people have got to die? How many more stories with no content can you bear? Folks, I encourage you to subscribe and to share. If you want the truth, I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm not going to paint a pretty picture. I'm not going to romance it. I will not mince my words. I'm going to tell you what a lot of people won't tell you, and that is the truth. And sometimes, and most times, the truth hurts. The truth isn't comfortable. That's the reason we're in the shape that we're in now. Again, my condolences to Miss Jackson and her family. And my prayers and everybody else's prayers are with you. And we pray that justice will be served for not just Miss Jackson, but for all the countless victims that have fallen at the hands of these criminals with badges, starting with Eddie Hawkins. Until next time, God bless you.